The invitation arrived on a Tuesday afternoon, slipped under my apartment door like a snake entering a garden. Cream-colored cardstock, embossed gold lettering, the kind of pretentious stationery that screamed, "We have money and want you to know it. Mr. and Mrs. Richard Castellano cordially invite you to celebrate their 10th wedding anniversary." I stared at it for a full minute, my hands trembling so badly the card fluttered like a trapped moth. 10 years. It had been 10 years since Marcus had left me standing at the altar, humiliated in front of 200 guests, my belly already swollen with a secret I hadn't yet shared with him. 10 years since he'd run off with Vanessa, my former best friend, the maid of honor who had helped me pick out my wedding dress. And now they wanted me at their anniversary party. The audacity was breathtaking. But as I read the invitation again, a different kind of trembling started in my chest. Not fear this time. Something darker, hungrier, an opportunity. I called my sister that night. "They invited me, Claire. After everything, they actually invited me." "Don't go," she said immediately. "Rachel, please. You've built a good life. The kids are happy. Don't let those people back in." But I was already planning my outfit in my head. "I'm going," I told her, "and I'm bringing guests." The week before the party, I did something I hadn't done in years. I went shopping for myself. Really shopping, not just grabbing whatever was on clearance at Target between Ethan's soccer practice and Lily's piano lessons. I found a dress that fit like it had been designed specifically to showcase every curve, every inch of the body I'd fought to reclaim after carrying 3 babies. Deep emerald green, the color that had always made my eyes look like forest pools. I got my hair done professionally, subtle highlights that caught the light. My nails painted a shade called Revenge Red. When I looked in the mirror the morning of the party, I barely recognized myself. I looked like the woman I would have become if Marcus hadn't shattered my life a decade ago. "Mom, you look like a princess," Sophia said, her eyes wide as she watched me apply lipstick. I knelt down to her level, careful not to wrinkle my dress. "Remember what we talked about, sweetheart? Today is going to be a bit unusual, but I need you and your brother and sister to be on your very best behavior." "We will, Mommy," Ethan promised solemnly. At 10 years old, he was already protective of me in ways that broke and healed my heart simultaneously. Lily just nodded, sucking her thumb, a habit she still hadn't quite broken. 3 perfect children. 3 constant reminders of the man who had abandoned us before he even knew they existed. They had his dark curls, his strong jawline, but they had my determination, my resilience. They were mine in every way that mattered. My mother had agreed to drive us, though she'd argued against this plan almost as vehemently as Claire had. "This is a mistake, Rachel. You don't owe those people anything. Showing up with the children? What are you trying to prove?" "Everything," I told her. "I'm trying to prove everything." The Castellano estate looked exactly as pretentious as I'd imagined. Mansion didn't quite cover it. This was a monument to excess, all white columns and manicured lawns, with a circular driveway where a valet was parking Mercedes and BMWs. I pulled up in my 10-year-old Honda Civic, and the valet's expression barely flickered. Professional to the end. "We're really doing this?" my mother asked from the driver's seat. I looked back at the triplets, already unbuckling their seatbelts with the chaotic energy of 3 10-year-olds. "We're really doing this." The party was in full swing when we walked in. A string quartet played in one corner of the massive living room. Waiters circulated with champagne and hors d'oeuvres that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. The guest list read like a who's who of our old social circle, all the people who had chosen sides when Marcus left me, all the people who had chosen them. Conversation stuttered and stopped as I walked in. I felt every eye in the room turn toward me, toward my children. The resemblance was unmistakable. Even people who had never met Marcus would see it. The same dark eyes, the same stubborn chin, the same smile that could light up a room. And then I saw them. Marcus and Vanessa, holding court in the center of the room like the king and queen of their little kingdom. Vanessa wore white. Of course she did. A designer dress that probably cost more than my first car. Marcus looked older, his temples graying, but still handsome in that careless way that had first attracted me in college. They hadn't seen me yet. They were laughing at something. Vanessa's hand possessively on Marcus's arm, displaying the massive diamond on her finger that caught the light like a disco ball. I took a breath and walked forward, my children flanking me like an honor guard. "Rachel?" The voice came from my left. Jennifer Hammond, who had been in our wedding party. Her face had gone pale. Are those... "Hello, Jennifer," I said pleasantly. "It's been a long time." The crowd was parting now, people stepping back to create a pathway, like I was Moses approaching the Red Sea. Except I wasn't here to part waters. I was here to drown some lies. Marcus saw me first. The color drained from his face so completely he looked like he might faint. Vanessa followed his gaze, and her expression transformed from confusion to recognition to something that might have been fear in the span of 3 seconds. "Rachel," Marcus said, and his voice cracked on my name. "Why are you—" "You invited me," I said simply. I put my hands on Sophia's and Ethan's shoulders. Lily pressed against my leg, suddenly shy. I thought it would be rude not to come, and ruder still not to bring my children to meet their father. The silence that fell over the room was so complete I could hear the string quartet finishing their piece in the next room, oblivious to the drama unfolding here. "Father?" Vanessa's voice was shrill. "Marcus, what is she talking about?" I smiled at her, and it was not a kind smile. "Oh, didn't he tell you?" How surprising. Marcus has always been so good at running away from his responsibilities. "This is insane," Marcus said, but his eyes were locked on the triplets. I could see him counting, calculating, seeing himself reflected in their faces. "You can't just show up here and what? Tell the truth?" I turned to address the room, raising my voice so everyone could hear. "Let me tell you a story. 10 years ago, I was supposed to get married. Beautiful ceremony, expensive venue, all our friends and family gathered to celebrate. I was 3 months pregnant, with triplets, as it turns out, though I didn't know that yet. I was planning to tell my fiancé that night at our reception. Ethan was looking up at me with wide eyes. We'd practiced this, talked about what might happen, but I could see him processing the reality of it in real time. But my fiancé never showed up to the ceremony," I continued. "Instead, he ran off with my maid of honor, left me standing at the altar, humiliated, heartbroken, and pregnant with 3 children who would grow up never knowing their father." "Rachel, please," Marcus said, and I was gratified to hear genuine panic in his voice. "We can talk about this privately." "Oh, now you want to talk?" I laughed, and it sounded harsh even to my own ears. "You didn't want to talk when you left me. You didn't want to talk when I tried to call you, to reach out, to tell you I was pregnant. You blocked my number. You moved across the country. You made it abundantly clear that you wanted nothing to do with me." Vanessa's face had gone from pale to red. "You never said anything about a baby. You never—" "I tried." The words came out sharper than I'd intended, and Lily flinched against my leg. I took a breath, gentled my voice. "I tried for months, but you two were so busy building your perfect little life together you couldn't be bothered to answer a single call. Is this true?" An older woman I didn't recognize stepped forward. She had Marcus's eyes. His mother, I realized. I'd never met her. Marcus and I had been planning a small family introduction after the wedding that never happened. Marcus looked like he wanted to disappear into the floor. "Mom, I can explain." "Can you?" His mother's voice was cold. "Can you explain how you have 3 children you never mentioned? 3 grandchildren I never knew existed? They might not even be mine," Marcus said desperately. "She could be lying, she could—" I pulled out my phone, navigated to the folder I'd prepared. "DNA tests, all 3 of them. 99.9% match. I had them done 2 years ago, just in case you ever decided to deny them." I held up the phone so he could see the official documents. "Would you like me to email these to everyone here?" "I can do that. I'm very tech-savvy these days. Single motherhood teaches you to be resourceful." The crowd was murmuring now, a low buzz of shock and judgment that felt like vindication flowing through my veins. "This is blackmail," Vanessa hissed. "You're trying to ruin us." "Ruin you?" I stared at her. This woman who had been my best friend, who had held my hand through my mother's cancer scare, who had promised to stand by my side on my wedding day. "You already ruined me. Both of you. I'm just making sure everyone knows the truth about who you really are." "Mrs. Castellano?" Sophia's small voice cut through the tension. She was looking at Vanessa with curious eyes. "Are you the lady who stole my daddy?" The room collectively gasped. I hadn't coached her to say that. Sophia had apparently been paying very close attention to everything we'd discussed at home. Vanessa's mouth opened and closed like a fish. No words came out. "I don't understand," Ethan said, looking at Marcus. "Why didn't you want to meet us? We're really good kids. Mom says so all the time." And there it was. The question I'd been asking myself for 10 years, voiced by the son who looked so much like his father, it was almost eerie. Marcus's face crumpled. For a moment, I almost felt sorry for him. Almost. "I didn't know," he said weakly. "Rachel, I swear, if I had known—" "You would have what? Stayed? Married me out of obligation while resenting me forever?" I shook my head. "No. You made your choice. You chose her, chose this life, chose to ignore every attempt I made to contact you. These children deserved better than a father who had to be trapped into loving them. But you came here, Marcus's mother said, stepping closer to the triplets. She was looking at them with wonder and grief mixed together on her face. Why come here now, after all these years? I met her eyes. Because you invited me. Because I wanted you all to see what you've been missing. Because these children deserve to know they weren't the ones who did something wrong. Their father was. Can we go now? Lily asked in a small voice. This place is scary. Yes, sweetheart, we can go. I took her hand, gestured for Sophia and Ethan to follow me. We turned to leave, and I felt a savage satisfaction at the stunned faces watching us. Wait, Marcus called out. Rachel, wait, please. I want to know them. If you'll let me, I want to be their father. I stopped, turned back, studied his face. He looked sincere, desperate, broken. Good. You are their father biologically, I said quietly, but you haven't earned the right to be their dad. That's a title that takes years of showing up, of putting them first, of being there when things are hard, and not just when it's convenient. Then let me try, he said. Please, I was a coward. I was selfish and stupid, and I ran away from the best thing that ever happened to me. But I want to make it right. I looked at my children. Ethan's face was full of hope. Sophia looked skeptical. Lily was still hiding behind my leg. It's not up to me, I said. It's up to them. If they want to know you, if they want you in their lives, we can discuss it. But on our terms, not yours. Not anymore. Marcus nodded, tears streaming down his face. Yes. Anything. Whatever they need. Vanessa was crying too, but hers were angry tears. You planned this, she spat at me. You came here to humiliate us. No, I interrupted. I came here to tell the truth. If the truth humiliates you, that's your problem, not mine. I looked around the room one more time, at all the people who had judged me, who had assumed I'd done something to drive Marcus away, who had taken their side without knowing the full story. Thank you for the invitation, I said to no one in particular. It was very illuminating. My mother was waiting in the car. She took one look at our faces and started the engine without a word. Mom? Ethan said as we pulled away from the mansion. What happens now? I reached back and squeezed his hand. I don't know, sweetheart, but whatever happens, we face it together, just like always. Did we ruin their party? Sophia asked. Completely, I confirmed. She grinned. Good. In the rearview mirror, I could see the mansion receding behind us. I imagined Marcus and Vanessa trying to salvage their celebration, trying to explain to their guests, trying to rebuild the perfect image that had just shattered into a million pieces. My phone buzzed. A text from Claire. OMG, Jennifer Hammond just called me. She said you brought the kids. She said they look exactly like Marcus. Tell me everything. Then another text, this one from an unknown number. This is Marcus's mother. Please call me. I want to meet my grandchildren properly. I want to make this right. And another. This is Jennifer. I owe you an apology. We all do. I'm so sorry we didn't believe you. I'm so sorry we didn't support you. The messages kept coming as we drove home. Apologies, shock, questions, support. I hadn't received 10 years ago suddenly flooding in now that the truth was impossible to ignore. Are you okay, Mom? Ethan asked. I thought about the question. Was I okay? I'd just blown up my ex-fiancé's anniversary party, exposed his abandonment in front of all his friends and family, and potentially opened the door for him to enter my children's lives with all the complications that would bring. But I'd also stood up for myself, for them. I'd made sure the truth was known, that the burden of shame shifted to where it belonged. Yeah, I said. I think I am. The aftermath took weeks to settle. Marcus called daily, wanting to see the children. I made him wait, made him prove he was serious, that this wasn't just a panicked reaction to being exposed. I consulted with a therapist, had the kids talk to a counselor, made sure we were all emotionally prepared before agreeing to a meeting. When we finally did meet, at a neutral location, a park where the children could play and leave if they got uncomfortable, Marcus showed up with photo albums. Pictures of himself as a child, looking exactly like Ethan. Pictures of his parents, his siblings, the family medical history we'd never had access to. I don't expect forgiveness, he told me while the kids played on the swings, supervised by my mother. I know what I did was unforgivable, but I want to try. I want to be in their lives, however they'll have me. What about Vanessa? I asked. He winced. We're separated. She's She's not handling this well. I should have felt triumphant. Instead, I just felt tired. This isn't about revenge, Marcus. It never was. It's about these kids knowing where they come from. It's about them having choices I never got to make for them. I know, he said quietly. And I'll spend the rest of my life making it up to them. To you. You can't make it up to me, I told him. Those years are gone. But you can show up for them now. That's all they need. It's been 6 months since the anniversary party. Marcus sees the kids every other weekend now. He's awkward and trying too hard, buying them too many presents and making too many promises. But he shows up. That's something. His mother, their grandmother, has become a fixture in our lives. She takes them to museums and parks, teaches Sophia to bake, goes to Ethan's soccer games. She cries every time she looks at them, mourning the years she lost. But she's here now. Vanessa sent me a letter. I didn't open it for 2 weeks, and when I finally did, it was full of justifications and blame. She claimed she hadn't known I was pregnant, that Marcus had told her I was toxic and unstable. She claimed she'd been a victim too. I read it once and threw it away. Some people never take responsibility for their choices. As for me, I'm still processing. That night at the party felt like closure, like justice, like vindication. But it also opened old wounds I thought had scarred over. The therapist says that's normal, that confronting trauma doesn't make it disappear. It just helps you understand it better. The kids are adjusting. Sophia remains skeptical of Marcus, watching him with shrewd eyes, ready to protect her siblings if he lets them down. Ethan is cautiously optimistic, hungry for a father figure but afraid to trust completely. Lily just wants someone to play dolls with, and Marcus gamely sits through tea parties with stuffed animals. People still talk about that night. It's become legendary in our old social circle. The woman who showed up with secret triplets and blew up an anniversary party. Some people think I was vindictive and cruel. Others think I was brave and justified. I try not to care what they think. I did what I needed to do. I told the truth. I let my children see their father for who he really was. Flawed, cowardly, but maybe capable of change. And I left that party with my head held high, my children by my side, and the satisfaction of knowing that I'd survived the worst thing Marcus could do to me and came out stronger. I went to be embarrassed. Instead, I revealed the truth and ruined everything they'd built on lies. And I'd do it again.